Hello, welcome to another episode of Midwest Container Home. So in the last video that I recorded and posted to different platforms, I got a lot of feedback. So I was talking about how the containers are tied together or held together. I had a lot of feedback about showing some model. Sometimes the accent can get a little tricky, right? I get that sometimes the things that I say, because I'm not a native speaker of English, sometimes the things that I say are not as clear to where someone can go run a search with a word, especially when I'm calling out things and devices and so on. So I decided I had some extra. I think I have at least 10 of these devices, various devices left. When I started on a project, I thought it would be to my advantage to add some of these extra stuff, just in case something went wrong, something I did not anticipate. This here is called the twist lock. There, the twist lock. It's called the twist lock because you twist and you lock it. That's a locking mechanism. So this is a off position, meaning that this is how you set it up to insert in a corner casting. Container 6, I'm not a professional, so I'll do my best to provide as much detail as I can to satisfy some of those feedbacks. So this is the off position. So container 6 primarily in 4 corners. When I'm referring to corner casting, that's what I mean. Like at the end of each container, on 4 corners up and down, you have these holes. That's how containers are attached to each other. So here's a twist lock. It goes in the corner casting in the container at the bottom. So let's call this the corner casting of the container. So it goes in, the top container sits on it, then you lock it on position, what I would refer to as a position. So it twists on the inside like an arrow. So when you turn it, it turns in the casting and locks it, which means container cannot fly out, or if it's in a ship, because of storms at sea, it will not come apart. So that's what it is. There's a variation of this device that's called a dovetail. So it is essentially a twist lock, but just half of it, right? So the application of a dovetail is when you want to anchor a container on a slab, or for those who transport containers on flatbed, on trailers. Usually, not all of them, but usually some of them or most of them, they have a dovetail. If their specialty is to transport containers, you will have a dovetail at 4 corners of their flatbed trailer. Because when they get to the port, the crane lifts the container and sits on it. It's measured, it's calibrated, where it fits exactly the size of the container. Sits on it, they lock it. When they lock it, they don't need to tie it, they don't need to throw any ropes on it, they don't need to ratchet it down because it's already tied. Now, disclaimer, I'm not saying somebody should do it. Check with the regulations of wherever you are to see how you transport containers. So I don't want anyone to go take action based on something that I'm saying, because I'm not a professional when it comes to rigging and transportation. So I was just giving you an alternative of how this thing is used, like half of it. When I talk about how my roof was engineered, I'll show you a copy of a dovetail, because I did use those dovetails as part of engineering my roof. Because keep in mind, my roof is wood on top of metal, right? So the trusses are wood and the top is metal. So I had to engineer the platform a certain way, pretty much turn that metal surface into wood, so that the contractor could attach my roof to the house. That's how it was done. I will talk about it. It was designed a specific way. I had it fabricated a specific way so that it will work. So that's something that I created on my own. But a major piece of it was a dovetail, which is essentially half of this, because the top of the container also has those corner castings. So I used the corner casting to my advantage to engineer my roof, to engineer the platform where my roof was to be attached. So there's a lot more to that. So there will be a video specifically dedicated to how my roof was done. That is a twist lock. So you twist, you lock it, and then you weld it. So by mistake or by design, something cannot, you can't unlock it, or somebody cannot accidentally unlock it, then the container will fly off. So that's a twist lock. And the last video was done in the living room, so I'm in the basement here. So that was a twist lock for vertical attachment. Here is a bridge fitting. The previous video I was giving you I was trying to fabricate it with my hand, to demonstrate with my hand, because that's how it's shaped, right? So it's essentially a big screw with a bolt mounted on it, where you can move it sideways, then you can lock it to screw in. So again, corner casting, it goes in. See how it's shaped? It's shaped like a hook. So you send in the corner casting, it hooks inside. You send it in the corner casting of the container next to it. This is horizontal attachment. Then you just take a big wrench, and then you wrench it here. As you're wrenching it, I won't be able to move the screw as I'm moving the side, but let me move the side because it moves. So it attaches. When you ratchet it, it attaches, it slides, it goes over. And that's how you get the containers together as close as you can so they can touch. It stays with it. If you're building, in my case, it stays with it. Now, when the containers touch, then you can weld the container. So it helps you to bring the containers together, but it also serves as permanent attachment if you want. Fail safe. Anything that we do can come up. Welding is solid, but welding can come up too. I mean, you never know the level of strength, the level of force that can split a weld. So these things, I use them as fail safe. So that's one. The twist lock also was a fail safe, because what I could have done, I could have just aligned the container exactly on top of each other, just welded. But I used the twist lock as a fail safe as well, because in addition to these devices, welding still occurs. It's just double safety. I got some feedback from those who've done it before. It wasn't really necessary. And that is true. When you think of it, it wasn't really necessary. But keep in mind, I'm not a builder. Keep in mind, I'm not in the trade. So I will, in general, take extra precautions for the things that I don't necessarily know 100%, just to make sure I don't get surprised. So does it mean that sometimes I get an extra device that may not be absolutely necessary? Yes. Whenever it is reasonable, however, I prefer to go that route. So these are the two devices, bridge fitting and twist lock. I just wanted to come back and correct that. But also in the previous video, I kept saying the force of the container, no, or the severity of the container. I meant to say the severity of the storm. That's what I meant to say. So I'm in the basement. As you can see, framing it's all done in the house. There's just a few ends that I need to tie, especially the end walls, and frame the doors that I have not framed yet, like the rough framing. And then the ceiling joist, I kept putting that off because I needed to make sure that, because we were in the winter and the weather was nice, I needed to do everything that I could do on the outside while I could do that. It's usually not doable in the winter. So most of the summer I spent it outside. So I just now, I was a little sick. I was sick last week, so you didn't see any content last week. It started the week before, so I was not doing very well. So you didn't see me post anything on any of the platforms that I usually post, because a lot of my postings occur in private platforms where there are groups of people that I know. That's why I post most of my content. Sometimes when I refer to questions that I'm being asked, you don't necessarily see that on open platforms, because that's where I'm getting those questions. People tend to be more comfortable asking questions in those venues. That's what it is. So I just want to make sure that I quote unquote edit that video, or I add more content to what I was referring to. So that's what it is. Well, thank you for watching. Like I always say, some of these things are not for everybody. If you do not like it, skip it. Go to the next video. If you like it, however, go ahead and subscribe and share. Hopefully it is useful to someone out there. Why is it important for me to take a few minutes and share these things? You have to understand how I have been built. I have been learning from others. I have not had time to do professional videos, and I hope as I go, hopefully you can already see that now that I'm actually trying to give some details other than just zapping a video for, recording a video for 2 minutes or 3 minutes and just posting with the things that I've done. I'm trying to give more useful content because I've learned these things as well. I found out, I knew that things were being attached or shipped by something, but I didn't know what it was until I learned it from someone else who was doing the same thing. So I kind of feel that obligation to answer these questions. Not the questions that I'm comfortable with. I will not answer all the questions, but the questions that I feel when I was this person or when I was in this person's position, this is something that I would have wanted to know about. This is something that would have been useful if I had known about before. So I'm trying to share those things. So we'll be talking about the tools in future videos. I'll show you some of the tools that I have and I'll give you an idea of what I use them for. Believe it or not, I can tell you that the tools that I've ended up with have nothing to do with the tools that I thought I'll need. Right? Again, not being a builder, you don't just have tools sitting around, right? So as I went, I found out the things that I needed. As I watched other people complete their own project, I learned about these tools. So I'll be doing videos with some tools. I won't teach you how to use it. Again, I'm not coming at this from a skilled perspective. This is more so of another DIY person out there who is willing to try, but is very insecure about it, is not very comfortable, is scared or fearful. I'll say this, there's not a whole lot to be scared about, right? There are people available who will help you without you even asking. It's always nice to ask if you need help. There are forums out there. There are some good, solid channels out there where you can go find out about this thing. The internet is full of information, right? So don't get scared. If you have an idea, go for it. And sometimes it's not going to work out, right? I've lost so much in adventures. That's why you have the impression that I'm not scared of anything. I'm not scared of failing. I mean, not anything. There are things that I'm scared of. But I'm talking about failing. Like, being scared of failing is a sentiment that I lost a long time ago. That sentiment went away from me because of some losses that I incurred. I've lost everything multiple times. Why? Because I tried things. So be prepared for some of the things that you're going to try to fail. You will start businesses without even making a dime. Everything will go down the gutter, right? I've been there. I've started so many things that have failed. I have failed so much than this thing that I'm doing. So I am not afraid to fail. So if there is anything that my failures have taught me, is that as long as I can still breathe, you gotta keep going. You only have to be successful once. You only have to win once. You don't have to win multiple times. The funny thing is, when you fail, you will lose people. When you fail, even the people closest to you, you will lose them when you fail. If they see you successfully failing, you're going to lose them. I can tell you that from experience. On this one, I can speak with authority. Is that people will walk away from you when they see you failing. Now, if you let that deter you, then you lost everything, right? So keep trying until you're successful. So for me, I will keep trying. So I'm not going to stop. So don't be afraid, right? Don't do anything crazy, of course, in the name of trying things. We all have our level of stupidity, and we have our limits of stupidity, right? So I'm going to share these things. I still don't have the infrastructure, the ability to edit video. The truth is I don't have time to film and edit and cut out and put emojis on it and names on it and stuff like that. So usually you'll watch me record a video from start to end. You will see me walking to the camera I'll sit down and talk or stand and talk, and you'll see me walk back to the camera to stop it. So I do not have infrastructure or time, mostly the time, to have these highly edited videos. It's just not going to be that way here. But I will give you much more than I have been so far. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your thing, subscribe and share. If not, please skip it. And until next time, you have a wonderful day. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. Bye-bye.